In today's video, the details are already out for the second Hatsune Miku secret lair, and I'm wondering if it's going to be better than the first in terms of card content and reprints. So let's talk about today if you should buy the Hatsune Miku secret lair number 2. Alright everybody, thank you so much for being here, and in today's video, like I said, we are going to talk about the Hatsune Miku secret lair that will be part of the summer super drop. And if you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Go ahead and click the bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos are posted. A couple months back, I did a video talking about the first secret lair, and I ultimately said that it was not going to be worth it, in my opinion, unless you were a big fan of the Hatsune Miku, product, whatever you want to call it, because the reprints weren't that great, and I kind of stand by that. But the numbers disagree with me a little. So, unfortunately, due to the nature of secret lairs now, the FOMO is very real, and we did see these sell out pretty quick. And so on the screen here, I do have the prices and stuff from TCG Player for the 4 different secret lairs that came out. So there was the English non-foil, which is about $60 at the cheapest. We had the Japanese non-foil, which is closer to $53. And then we had the foil English at $75 and the foil Japanese around $53. So as more people have gotten these in hand, we've seen more kind of interest in them, I guess is the easiest way to say that. But they definitely did kind of hold their value. And I think over time we could see them rise more depending on, if as the future secret lairs come out for Hatsune Miku, people might grab that and then decide, oh, I want to go back and get the other ones, and obviously there's less of a supply, which makes that a little more challenging. But I mean, most of them were pretty close to a double up. The foil ones were not quite a double up, but almost like a 1.75x. So you definitely made your money back and then some if you bought them. Obviously, if you bought them for the purpose of just enjoying them as they are, you definitely did okay. If you bought them to flip, you probably would have been able to make some good value if you flipped them quickly. But overall, I think it's a, I was wrong. I think they did sell better than I expected, and there was a lot of demand for them. But again, it's hard to tell how much of that demand is from fans of the Miku series as a whole, or if those are just people who were, trying to take advantage of that and make a quick buck with the nature of secret lairs now. I don't know. It's hard to say. But we're going to talk about this one now, and I think some of the cards in this are better, but we'll notice a theme here about the actual, card construction themselves that I think is kind of very confusing. So let's actually jump into the cards here and take a look. All right, first up is Miku, Child of Song, and this is a reskin, if you will, of Child of Alara. You might be familiar with this card as one of the least popular commanders, a very, very frustrating card and deck to play against, which makes this a very interesting choice because I think a lot of people just kind of are not huge fans of this card. So, making a what's ideally going to be a popular card, one that is using that card as a basis. There's so many other 5-color commanders I think you could have picked that might have worked really well in retrospect if you wanted people to have access to some, Miku commander variants, but I digress. That's what we're getting. The artwork here isn't terrible. It's definitely one of the best artworks in this, and I think it's really interesting because we'll talk about the artwork on a couple other cards in just a minute here in the video as a big thing that I think was a complaint of the first one and is definitely, in my opinion, still a complaint for this one. It just doesn't. We know that Magic can do amazing anime art. Look at Rhystic's Study from Wilds of Eldraine, or Savra, Queen of the Golgari from Ravnica Remastered. Both of those in their anime style look fantastic, and for some reason, we just didn't get things like that. I mean, this isn't a terrible art, but there are so many talented artists who can draw really good anime cards, and you would think for a popular IP like this, they would employ some of those people, because if the cards had better artwork, I mean, obviously artwork is subjective, but I think the community as a whole has been kind of in a consensus feeling that the artwork on the majority of these does not measure up. I digress. This card is about 50 cents for the non-foil and $1 for the foil, so we're definitely not looking at value in terms of the reprint. Of course, that doesn't mean the card itself won't be worth money. It's just kind of a little bit of a letdown all around. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, with secret lairs, it's not just about the value of the reprints. Buy them if you like the art. If you want to collect it, if you like what's there, that's definitely part of the appeal. Support the artist, support the process. There are some really cool secret lairs that aren't exactly the most broken cards ever printed, but are really, really cool and fun to have. But when you get cards that are kind of neither of those, that's where it gets a little tricky to recommend buying them, because at some point the singles may be more affordable than your investment that you're putting forward. But this is an IP that's pretty popular and did sell out last time, so I sort of expect it'll go the same way. All right, the next one's very interesting because it is Sol Ring, and obviously Sol Ring has been printed a bazillion times, but we have seen time and time again that when Sol Ring is reprinted in any kind of premium alternate version, it typically does very well in price. We've seen Sol Ring from Fallout, we've seen Sol Ring from Commander Masters, both with alternate art, borderless variants, both hold out quite well, and people love Sol Ring. Every Commander deck plays it, so there's always going to be a demand for premium variants with Sol Ring. So acknowledging that this card's price of $1 or $3 for the foil at the cheapest is not really all that relevant when talking about Sol Ring as a reprint, in my opinion. I think Sol Ring will end up being the most expensive card out of this Secret Lair by far, because A, it's an IP people like, and B, it's a card that is essentially included in every single deck. You get into a little bit more nuance, though, when talking about whether or not Sol Ring is a good choice for a reprint in a Secret Lair. I understand it in a product because it's something you could pull, it's a good card, it's usually in like a collector booster, or it's in something where, it's going to be legal to be played. But in a Secret Lair, a card like Sol Ring is so easy to get in some form or fashion that it's sort of... I could understand people that look at it and say, well, why are you reprinting this in here? Like, we've already gotten this 1,000 times. But I also understand people on the other side saying, well, I'm really happy to get a chance to get a higher rarity Sol Ring of a character that I love. So this one I'm a little bit hesitant to say is bad, because I know it's going to do well. But let's just take that aside for a second and talk about the artwork. I don't even know what's going on here, but this looks like some AI-generated art garbage. Like, the expression on the characters' faces and the whole aesthetic just looks so bad. And I don't, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, art is subjective, so if you like it, I'm not saying this is like a critique on you or your opinions, but this could have been drawn in a more anime style that would have looked really, really cool. There were so many easy tweaks you could have made to not make this look like... I saw someone say this looks like their sleep paralysis demon, and that made me laugh. And it just is so... It's such an easy thing to tweak, and I'm not saying the drawing is easy, because I have the artistic talent of a blind monkey, but, like, they know and have access to so many artists who could put out some fantastic work, and it's not that this art is necessarily even terrible, it just doesn't fit with anything we've seen with Hatsune Miku in designs, and so I feel like someone at Wizards maybe isn't really getting the memo, or isn't quite clued into what people might be looking for with this, because they could have done a Sol Ring but done it a lot better than the actual artwork on this one. Alright, next up, Diabolic Tutor, because of course this tutor is probably one of the worst objectively, and definitely is not worth the value, so why would we pick one that we could put in here that's decent, like Grim Tutor maybe? I don't know, it's not super expensive, and it's been in a Secret Lair before, but at least it's more playable. This one is $1 for the regular and about $3.50 for the cheapest foil. And again, we have a couple different factors in play here. First of all, the artwork is awful. I don't know what's going on, and I'd rather not. You know what I mean? It's all awful. Horrible. It looks AI generated. I know it's not, but it looks like it is. It's just not good. It's cursed, if you will, and no disrespect to the artist. Again, this is all just my opinion. But when you have a Secret Lair and the intent is either good art or good cards or both, this doesn't really check any of those boxes. Now, sure, Diabolic Tutor's not horrible. If you're a budget Commander player, it's definitely better than some of the other tutor options, so I can understand the appeal. But if you're a budget player, you're probably not going to drop the money on the Secret Lair, especially not for a Diabolic Tutor, when considering that for $30, you could probably get a Vampiric Tutor or close to it, so you'd be better off putting your money there if you were really looking to invest in something to upgrade your Commander decks. Not a ton else to say about this, but just a bit of a disappointing reprint with artwork I do not care for, and yeah, it doesn't check any boxes for me, so a little bit disappointing all around. Now, one that's slightly better is Chord of Calling. Now, this is a pretty strong card that can do a lot, especially for green, bring out some big creatures, and being able to cast it with Convoke is certainly an added bonus. It's about $4 at the cheapest for the non-foil and $5 for a foil, and that's because it just got reprinted in Ravnica Remastered, which... again, like, it's a good card, and it's probably one of those cards that will go back up steadily over time, I would think, but still, doubling down on a reprint of a card we just got a couple months ago that is nowhere near in demand, quote-unquote, just doesn't sit right with me when asking you to pay, you know, full price for these things. But I know I sound like a broken record at this juncture. The artwork is okay, but again, the weird facial expressions going on, I don't really know why. And maybe I'm wrong. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comments down below. Like, am I way off base on this? Like, is the artwork just awesome and I'm just like one of the outliers? It's totally possible that I am. I mean, I'm looking here and it doesn't appear that that's the case. But alas, you know, perhaps people have, you know, different people have different tastes. I get that. I respect that. It is what it is. But Court of Calling, again, it's probably the best card that's in here so far other than Sol Ring, but that's not really a commendation so much as it is like, all right, I guess it's not that bad. I guess it's not, you know, Child of Alar or Diabolic Tutor, so kind of okay, I guess, but there's not really much here going for it either. The good news is that with our final card, we finally have something that actually makes this worth the value, as every Secret Lair typically has at least that one card that's an in-demand reprint that people have been clamoring for, and if you can't tell I'm being fully sarcastic at this point, I'm convinced you haven't been watching the channel for all that long, because our last card also sucks. It is Song of Creation. It is a quarter for the non-foil and 50 cents for the foil. I'll say the artwork on this one isn't horrible. I still don't love what they're doing with Hatsune Miku's face, but at least it's drawn by an artist who seemed to kind of understand the assignment. Not that this card is atrocious either, but like, again, there's no real value in it. There's no value card in this Secret Lair, which again leads towards the case of Sol Ring ending up being what's going to be worth the most by far, I think. You can jot me down on this, but I'm pretty sure that out of these 5 cards, Sol Ring is going to be the one that's well above and beyond. It's sort of unfortunate too. And now I've seen some scattered things amongst the internet. There's a picture floating around of a Snapcaster Mage variant of Hatsune Miku that apparently is a bonus card in one of the Secret Lairs. Now, there was some rumblings going around that it was in the first Secret Lair, the one that had come out, but I have not seen anyone pull it. I haven't seen it in hand. I've seen Elvish Mystic from the first Secret Lair, which actually looks decent. I am not sure as of the time I'm filming this, and I have looked on Reddit and otherwise, and I've not been able to find confirmation, but it's possible that the Snapcaster Mage could be the bonus card in this Secret Lair. But if that is the case, you would think they would lead with that, right? Because that's a massive reprint for a card that, you know, while it's not the powerhouse it once was, it's still very good and obviously still has a lot of demand and application. And if it does turn out that the Snapcaster Mage is in this Secret Lair, then as a bonus card, as a guaranteed bonus card, if it's not like the Mana Vault from Fallout, then it's definitely a step in the right direction for sure. But I do not know. That is very much unconfirmed. I mean, the card clearly exists, but where it can be pulled and where it comes from, not sure at the moment. So obviously, if you guys know, feel free to sound off in the comments down below. I haven't seen any confirmation though. So I mean, it's either a bonus card in the first one or it's going to be a bonus card in this one. It's got wintry colors. Like, I don't know. You tell me. We'll find out, I suppose. But I just wanted to add that little caveat there. But let's just do a quick roundup here to see whether or not this is worth your while from a value perspective. We've got, for the non-foil, it is going to be a total of $6.75 in value, and for the foil it is going to be a total of $13 in value. So you're spending either $30 for less than 10, or you're spending $40 for slightly over 10. These are not going to be worth buying, in my opinion, for a value perspective. That being said, we saw what happened with the first ones. They sold out pretty quick. If you're looking to buy them to resell, I mean, that's something to do at your own risk. I guess you'll probably end up, if you're able to get them before they go, you'll probably end up being able to grab one. I could see them doing well long term. I still think it's overall a pretty disappointing product when the potential for it to be better is just so easy. You wouldn't have to do all that much. But with the FOMO, with that sort of artificial hype that exists, combined with something that people really like, I do think this will end up selling out. So if it is something you want, definitely make sure you're keeping an eye out for the super drop when that comes out. It's late June. I don't know the exact date, because if you're someone who genuinely wants this for the art, or if you're just a Miku fan in general, you'll probably have some competition with people trying to buy these and resell them later. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think this is going to be worth buying? Are you planning on buying it if you can get it? I'll respond to as many as I can, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.